everybody. Welcome back to Sticky Floor Friday, the internet movie show that can't believe how much has happened in just the past week since I last saw you. Bob Odenkirk suffered a heart-related incident, had me checking my phone every 20 minutes for updates. To no one's surprise, Snake Eyes completely tanked. ScarJo is suing Disney for releasing Black Widow on Disney Plus in the same window as theatrical. Not only did she get her movie 10 years too late, but her movie got pandemicked. And speaking of the pandemic, now we've got the Delta variant raging through the country. It's not great, Bob. So, what's the good news? Well, Bob is going to be okay, thank God. Disney is a corporation and you shouldn't feel bad about them. The only place left to go for G.I. Joe is giant worms. And, yeah, not much great to say about COVID. Everybody please be safe out there. Vaccines are good. And we got the first full-length trailer for Ghostbusters Afterlife, which would normally be a red-hot controversial topic, but everyone seems to think, yeah, okay, this'll do. The tone is way more reverent and serious than the original, although they did follow the golden rule of continuing a franchise. When in doubt, add a baby version of something people recognize. I don't know. I love the original Ghostbusters, of course. I grew up on it. I actually thought the 2016 version had the potential to be good, filled with great talent, but it was bogged down with meandering improv, and it felt like they were just making it up as they were going along. And I don't know if this is a course correct to satisfy all those adult men whose fragile childhoods were ruined by an all-female Ghostbusters crew, but it does kind of seem like an interesting take. It's different, and if we absolutely need to have another Ghostbusters movie, and do we? But I'd prefer that they at least do something a little bit different. Speaking of something a little bit different, this week we have the release of The Green Knight, easily the most interesting movie of the week. It tells the story of Sir Gawain, played by Dev Patel, who is King Arthur's nephew, and he goes off on an adventure to face the Green Knight, looking like a spry Treebeard. It's a big, sprawling fantasy epic with crazy mythological beasts, take note G.I. Joe, and it looks infinitely more interesting than another dead-on-arrival King Arthur tale, which, by the way, those things usually have zero crazy beasts. The director David Lowery has a pretty interesting filmography, which, aside from Pete's Dragon, most of his movies are smaller in scale. But that may help ground the trickier human elements of movies like this. Reviews are ecstatic for The Green Knight. That's great, and I love following Dev Patel's career. Obviously, he broke through with Slumdog Millionaire and then attempted to transition into a franchise with The Last Airbender, directed by our box office topping buddy M. Night Shyamalan. But when that failed, he's kind of bounced around in different roles, but hasn't quite found his lane, except for a love of movies about hotels. It also co-stars Oscar-winning Alicia Vikander, who came to prominence in the excellent, haunting Ex Machina. I wish I had my show back then. I would love to talk about that. I guess I could still do it. Nobody's telling me what to do. I can do whatever I want. I still have to do a video on Aquaman. Billy Blaze, don't worry, I didn't forget. Anyway, she won an Oscar after Ex Machina in The Danish Girl, and then she became the next Lara Croft. But like Dev Patel, I still feel like her career is just getting started. The Green Knight seems like the perfect confluence of both their careers, and if all were right in the world, this would be a huge hit. But we are not living in normal times, and I fear The Green Knight will get swallowed by the Disney machine and their theme park ride movie. And here it is, the movie based on the ride you take at Disney World when all the other lines are too long. It's Jungle Cruise. You know, that's one of those rides you can enjoy kind of sitting like this. Just like, yeah. And now, it's a movie! But hey, you know, people laughed when they said they were making a Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and look how that turned out. I mean, they also laughed when The Haunted Mansion came out, and Country Bears, and they didn't really laugh when Tomorrowland was announced because of Brad Bird's involvement, but boy, that was a huge disappointment at the box office. The point is, theme park rides are not a guarantee, but The Rock has never met a challenge he doesn't see fit to conquer, so here we have Jungle Cruise, the ride, the movie. And it presents itself as a big, goofy, fun screwball adventure with two massive movie stars, Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt, trying their hardest to capture the spirit of pirates, Raiders of the Lost Ark, The Mummy. Hell, even the poster is a Drew Struzan ripoff or homage. So much so that Struzan himself had to say he didn't come out of retirement to do this poster. And that sameness carries over to its star as well. Dwayne has been chasing his own adventure franchise for a while. He starred in his own Mummy movie, he raced to Witch Mountain, he journeyed to the mysterious island, and he even Jumanji'd a couple times. And he's gonna try again with the Jungle Cruise. This is cinematic comfort food. You get to spend some time watching good-looking people wear funny hats and flirt while falling over a waterfall. And you say, hey, I like the part where she made fun of him for trying to be suave, and boy, the air conditioning felt really nice. It's hot out there. And, boy, maybe I shouldn't be in this theater, because this Delta variant... And finally, we have Stillwater, starring Matt Damon as an Oklahoman out to rescue his daughter who was falsely imprisoned for murder. He's like Liam Neeson in Taken, except he doesn't have any particular set of skills other than growing a goatee. Between this and The Last Duel, Damon seems to have entered his regrettable facial hair period. Look, all great actors suffer through it. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Christian Bale, John Travolta, Spock, Michael Shannon, J-Lo's boyfriend. And by all accounts, this movie is fine. Maybe even good. But right now it's picking up some press because the story was cobbled together by director Tom McCarthy from the true story of Amanda Knox, the actual person who experienced something very, very similar. She feels her name is being used to sell the movie despite having no involvement. And honestly, that may be a more interesting debate than the movie itself. Where do you draw the line between inspiration and exploitation? As Amanda herself pointed out, they have no obligation to consult her. However, Tom McCarthy knew he was using her story as a jumping off point and knew he'd have to field questions about it, so he's inevitably dragging her into this. She's a real person, and now she has to have these discussions about this movie and her life again. On the other hand, it's a fictionalized account. Artists are free to take inspiration from wherever they want. It's just trickier when a real person is involved. I get it. The bigger problem I have is with the title, Stillwater. It's not even like an active sounding word. Stillwater. It's very nondescript. And Matt Damon has a ton of movies like this with vague sounding locations. Promised Land, Green Zone, Syriana. In this instance, just this one instance, I would take We Bought a Zoo as a movie title over Stillwater. In fact, they should have just called this We Stole Amanda Knox's Story. Alright, 3 questions. Are you going to see any of the movies coming out this week? And why will it be Green Knight? Number 2, what are your thoughts on the new Ghostbusters trailer? And number 3, what's the most regrettable facial hair in film history? Alright, I'll see you guys next week. I'm back with a preview of The Suicide Squad, and I'm coming with a guest. See you then.